Many of you have said to me in one way or another that one of the hardest things that you have to deal with as a family caregiver is coping with feelings of guilt. And you're right, that's a tough one. It can be hard to have feelings of like guilt, stress, and anger, anxiety, all of those feelings when you're a family caregiver. I remember a few years ago when I was taking care of my grandmother and, just providing all the caregiving, like personal care, meals, companionship, just all the things, and working, looking for a new job, and just feeling angry and tired, actually not even tired, exhausted and frustrated. And then on top of all of those feelings, feeling guilty for having those other feelings. Because after all, this was a person that loved me so much, and I really loved her. And she had spent many years providing care and support for me. So this was my chance of being able to like pay back, so to speak, and provide care for her. And so I really did feel guilty about having all of these other feelings. So, what can you do as a family caregiver to decrease feelings of guilt and begin building up your resilience so that you're able to continue to take on your caregiving duties and not become burnt out? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So, the very first thing that you should do is to acknowledge your feelings. Feel the feelings. Feel all the feelings. That's really, really important is to take note of what it is that you're feeling and allow yourself to feel it. Because if you don't, what you don't want to do is you don't want to like bottle them up inside or pretend that you're okay when you're really not or ignore how you're feeling. Because if you do that, eventually those feelings, they will come out. And usually they'll come out in a way that you don't expect and in a time and place that you don't want them to. So you really do have to make it a point of acknowledging how you feel. That's the very, very first step in lessening feelings of guilt. The next thing that you can do is to build up your resilience. And resilience is the ability to bounce back when times are tough. And you build up your resilience or begin building up your resilience in three different ways. The first is setting expectations and boundaries. The second is communication. And the third, you know what I'm going to say, it's self care. So let's look at number one. So, setting expectations and boundaries. Now, it's important to set realistic expectations about what it is that you actually can accomplish. You're a family caregiver. You can't do it all. You cannot do all the things. But you know what? That's okay. Don't try to do everything yourself. Ask for help when you need it. And if you have another family member or a friend volunteering to help you, accept that help when it's given to you. Setting realistic expectations for what you can accomplish as a family caregiver can go a long way in help lessening how much guilt you feel. The other important part of that is setting boundaries. It's really important for you to set boundaries with your role as a family caregiver and the other roles in your life. Because again, going back to the first statement, you can't do it all. And that really means saying no to requests when you don't have the time or the energy. And it also means knowing when and how to delegate tasks to others. So maybe if there is a big project going on at work, maybe you can look at the tasks that you have to do and delegate some of those things to some of your other coworkers. Or if you have family members or friends wanting you to go out and go here and there and run all over the world, and you just aren't feeling it, it's okay to say no. No is a complete sentence, and you don't have to feel as if you have to explain your decision or explain why you're saying no. So it's really important to set those expectations and boundaries. The second thing that you can do to lessen feelings of guilt and build up your resilience is communication. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Having Open and honest communication with your family members and friends, including your loved one that you're providing caregiving services for, is really an important step. You can sit down with your loved one, and if possible, discuss their preferences and their needs and your boundaries. And that can really go a long way in helping to reduce the guilt that you feel around your decisions and your choices. When it comes to communication, it's also important to be able to find someone that you trust to talk to about your feelings. So whether that's a friend, family member, therapist, priest, pastor, someone from a support group, it's really important to talk to someone you trust because that will help you process your emotions and develop positive coping mechanisms so that your feelings don't get stuffed down and come out at inappropriate times. Another thing that you can do is seek professional help if you need to. If you're really, really struggling with those feelings of guilt and struggling to cope with those feelings, it's important to seek that professional help because a therapist can help teach you coping mechanisms and can help you develop a resilience plan. And last but not least, consider joining a support group. A support group can provide a safe space for you to share your feelings and what you're experiencing. And it's helpful because in a support group, you're sharing those feelings and experiences with people who really understand what it is that you're going through because they are experiencing many of the same things. So, last but not least, the third way that you can help lessen feelings of guilt in family caregiving and develop your resilience is self care. As a family caregiver, you often put your own needs last because you are giving, giving, and giving of yourself and caring for others all the time. But self-care is essential. It's really important for you to make the time, to take the time to care for yourself, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Doing something that you enjoy can really help you to relax, de-stress. And it can be a hobby or exercise or deep breathing, taking a walk, taking a break. All of those are healthy ways to help you begin to cope with stress, which will help you begin to cope with feelings of guilt. Another way that you can provide self care to yourself is by positive self talk. Be kind to yourself, give yourself grace. Instead of focusing on your weaknesses, focus on your strengths and remind yourself that you're doing a good job, even if it doesn't feel that way. You can also give yourself self-care by focusing on the present moment. Don't dwell on what happened in the past or worry so much about what's going to happen in the future. Take things one day at a time and focus on the here and now and the things that you can control. And last but not least, celebrate your successes. No matter how small, it's really important to acknowledge your accomplishments as a family caregiver. So I would suggest you start by selecting one or two of the ideas discussed in this video that you can implement and start doing them as soon as you can, even as early as today. You won't alleviate all of your feelings of guilt in one shot, but it will help you begin the process of letting go of those feelings and building up your resilience. So, let me know in the comment section, what is at least one activity that you're going to do in order to help yourself begin coping with your feelings of guilt and building up your resilience? If you like this video, check out the links in the description because I have a free checklist and also I have a 4-module PDF-based course that's a paid course that will help you look at more in-depth ways that you can begin coping with the guilt that you may be feeling as a family caregiver. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it, and subscribe so that you don't miss anything from Master Your Stress. Catch you next time.